You ever see a billionaire try to laugh off a kid? That's how it started, standing in the echo of a marble penthouse, so high above Manhattan you could barely hear the city below, with Hassan al-Mansuri's voice rolling off the walls like thunder, all teeth and disbelief. 9 languages? Kid, you can barely get through a sentence in English. That's what he told me. David Johnson, 14 years old, son of the black cleaning lady he barely remembered the name of, public school backpack slung over one shoulder, feeling about as out of place as a snowball in July. My mom, Grace, tried to disappear behind her cleaning bucket, regretting, I could tell, dragging me to her job in this glass palace of power, money, and oil. Hassan was worth $3.5 billion, give or take. He was in a good mood. That day nothing entertained him more than putting someone in their place. So when I said I spoke 9 languages, he laughed like he just heard the world's best joke. He leaned back in that ridiculous chair that probably cost more than our apartment and smirked at Mom. Let's hear it then, Wonder Boy. What are these 9 languages? I could see in his eyes. He'd already written me off. I was just the cleaning lady's kid, black, Bronx, invisible. But I looked him in the eye and told him English, Spanish, French, German, Arabic, Mandarin, Russian, Italian, Portuguese. My words rang, so clear the laughter caught in his throat for half a second. Then he snapped, liar, turned away, dismissed me and Mom like we were a stain on his marble desk. You know that feeling? When your dignity is scraped raw in front of everyone who matters. That was the worst until I felt Mom's hand shake on my shoulder. It's okay, I whispered to her. Hassan couldn't help himself, lived for these moments of pure power, of reminding folks exactly where they stood. But he wasn't ready for what was coming next. Sir, I asked, do you speak Arabic? He looked at me like I was stupid. Of course. It's my native tongue. So I hit him with a sentence in classical Arabic, clean, precise, no accent. For a second, Hassan's face twitched, like maybe he'd bitten into something sour. That wasn't tourist Arabic. That was the real deal. Where'd you learn that? He demanded. I told him public library, free programs, nothing fancy, just a lot of hours and a lot of grit. He tried to laugh it off. Anyone can memorize a phrase. I get it if I was in his shoes. Maybe I want to believe that too. But I'd come prepared. Pulled out certificates, Columbia University, municipal library, online translation programs, real signatures, real stamps, all lined up. Hassan's hands trembled as he read them. For the first time, I saw a crack of something like respect, or was it fear? He couldn't tell himself I was just making it up anymore. But here's the thing, what nobody in that room knew, not even my mom, was that I wasn't just some kid who liked languages. I was there on purpose. This moment? I'd planned it for months. You see, I'd overheard things working in this penthouse, details, secrets, mistakes. And now, standing across from the man who thought he owned the world, I was ready to turn everything upside down. He squinted at my paperwork, desperate to find a fake, but it was all solidum lines, grades, stamps, even a 3-year progression anyone could check. But he still wasn't done fighting. Anyone could take a course, he grumbled. So, I fired up my tablet, called Professor Chin from the business school in perfect Mandarin. She rattled off in rapid Chinese, barely pausing for breath, and then switched to English. David is the best student I've had in 15 years, she said. His Mandarin is flawless. For once, Hassan was speechless. Did you know about this? He asked my mom. She shook her head honestly. I think she was just as stunned as he was. I explained, when Mom lost her second job, I had to leave private school. Public school was too easy, so I taught myself languages in the afternoons. Hassan listened, the wheels turning in his billionaire head, realizing his own kids, with all their tutors and fancy schools, couldn't hold a candle to the son of his cleaning lady. But why? He finally asked. Because if you speak to someone in their own language, they stop seeing you as a stranger, I said. They start seeing you as human. That hit him right in the gut. I could see it. For years, he'd used his culture like armor, separating himself from everyone else. Now, a kid with nothing but public libraries and grit was breaking right through. But my story was just starting. You saved my business, and I didn't even know it, Hassan murmured, when I explained I'd caught critical translation mistakes during his last negotiation with Middle Eastern investors, errors that nearly blew a $50 million deal. How did you know? he stammered. Because I've been studying business Arabic for 2 years, I replied, then slid over a detailed proposal outlining every international communication screw-up his company had made, lost contracts, avoidable errors, ways to fix it all. He read it twice. Couldn't believe what he was seeing. Why do this? He asked. Because real value isn't about your parents or your bank account. It's about what you can do, I said. And then the real twist. I reached into my backpack and pulled out a digital recorder. Hit play. Hassan's voice, cold as ice. These black Americans are all the same, lazy, uneducated, always blaming others. That's why I only hire Arabs and whites for important positions. My mom gasped. Hassan went pale. Where'd you get that? He demanded, voice cracking. Elevator, last week. You thought I was invisible. You were wrong. He sputtered about privacy, law's wrong move. New York's a one-party consent state. Totally legal, I said as calm as could be. And this proves systematic racial discrimination. One email and the whole world knows. He wilted right in front of me. What do you want? He croaked. I laid it out: promotion from mom to facility supervisor, $80,000 salary. Scholarship fund for kids like me. And, yeah, hire me as a junior language consultant. You're 14, he said, desperate. And I just saved you millions, I shot back. Or did you forget? He turned to mom for help. But this time she stood tall, dignity in her eyes, strength he'd never noticed before. You've raised a genius, he muttered. I've raised a man, mom said, voice unshakable. I slid the contract across the desk airtight. No retaliation possible. 5 minutes, I said, or this recording goes everywhere. His hand shook as he signed, realizing it wasn't just a job on the line, it was his entire reputation. How'd I know you won't still leak it? He asked, voice hollow. Because unlike you, I believe in second chances if someone's willing to change, I answered. For a moment, something shifted. Hassan extended his hand. Welcome to the 21st century, David. I took it, and just when he thought the game was over, I pulled out 2 more recorders. Everything's documented. Every word, every choice, even your signature, I grinned. For the first time, Hassan laughed, a real laugh. You're frighteningly smart, kid. No, I replied. I just prepared better. But even then, the real story was still waiting, buried in the secrets Hassan kept about his own past. That would come later. 6 months on, Hassan sat at a round table in the Bronx Public Library, not as a king, but as a student, listening to kids who'd never had a shot, recipients of the very scholarships I'd forced him to create. Maria, 15, asked, Is it true David blackmailed you for his first job? Hassan grinned. Best thing that ever happened to me. And there I was, 15 now, youngest language consultant in American corporate history, reviewing contracts worth millions. Just 6 months, and my corrections brought in $200 million for Al Mansouri Industries. Maria pressed for the whole story, and Grace-me mom, now in a power, suit nodded for him to tell it. I used to think money made me better, Hassan admitted. Then David showed me that real intelligence comes for what you build for yourself. Carlos, 13, piped up, how did I know it would work? I smiled. Because I did my homework. Hassan was once a poor immigrant from Lebanon who fought for everything. I reminded him who he used to be. Grace said it plain. Now we hire for competence, not privilege. Hassan gestured to the wall lined with scholarship certificates, 50 names, and counting. You know my greatest discovery? He asked the kids. When you invest in people, you grow with them. Before we left for the next negotiation, this time with Japanese investors, Carlos asked, Weren't you afraid of failing? I laughed, of course. But my mom taught meth's biggest failure is accepting being treated as less than your worth. I'd rather risk everything than stay invisible. Hassan looked at me true respect, not just as a prodigy, but as someone who had risked it all to call out injustice and won. Maria grinned. But you had a plan, right? I winked. Always have a plan. And evidence. As we headed to the car, Hassan turned to the students. Want the best part? David now earns more than I did at his age. Not by inheritance, be merit. Walking beside them, Hassan confessed, David, you didn't just save my company. You saved my soul. I was turning into the monster I used to fight against. You made me remember what matters, lifting others up. Mom kissed my forehead, pride shining. Not for the money, but for the man you're becoming. Hassan added, family isn't just blood, it's the people who make you want to be better. Later that day, I closed the $500 million deal, translating live. Forbes snapped a photo. How does it feel to be the first billionaire CEO advised by a 15-year-old? Hassan smiled. Feels like I finally understand leadership not being the smartest in the room, but building others up. They asked me for advice. Never let anyone define your worth by appearances or circumstance. Your origins don't decide your destiny. And always shave evidence to back your words. Did this story inspire you? Prove it. Drop a comment, hit like, and share what justice means to you. Because sometimes the real power to change everything starts with a voice nobody expected to hear.